Welcome back to another episode of the BodyMaitre podcast, where we explore the intricate dance between our energy, our consciousness, and our physical reality. I'm your host, Derek, and today we are diving deep into one of the most pervasive energies that holds humanity back. We are talking about fear, but not just the fear you feel when faced with an immediate danger. We are talking about what we call in spiritual response therapy, or SRT, a fear program. When clients come to me, they often feel stuck. They know something is wrong, but they can't quite put their finger on it. In SRT, we understand that we are vast, multidimensional beings, and our soul keeps a record of everything we've ever experienced across all lifetimes and dimensions. Sometimes when we experience intense trauma or prolonged stress in the past, whether that's 10 years ago or 10 lifetimes ago, the energy of that fear doesn't just dissipate. It gets imprinted into our soul records. Think of a fear program like a corrupted line of code running in the background of your operating system. You might not see the code itself, but you see the glitches it causes in your daily life. It's a subconscious block, a dense energy pattern that dictates your reactions, limits your choices, and colors your perception of reality without you even consciously knowing it's there. It is not merely an emotion that passes through, it is a structured program that runs on a loop. Now, the tricky thing about these subconscious programs is that they wear many masks. When we say fear, people usually think of phobias like a fear of heights, or spiders, or enclosed spaces. And yes, those are often fear programs, but the most damaging ones are subtle and insidious. We see programs manifested as a paralyzing fear of success. This is where someone self-sabotages the moment things start going well, because their subconscious program says it's safer to stay small. We see deep-seated fears of money, creating perpetual scarcity regardless of how hard they work. We see fears of relationships causing people to push love away to avoid the potential pain of abandonment. We see the fear of death, which ironically stops people from truly living. And perhaps most common, the fear of the unknown, which keeps people locked in miserable situations because the familiar pain feels safer than the unfamiliar freedom. I want to bring this to life with a case study that really highlights how profound this work can be. A client came to me completely overwhelmed. He described his life as if the foundations were crumbling. His work life was chaotic, his relationships were falling apart, and he felt an internal sense of collapse. Interestingly, when I asked for details, he couldn't really articulate the why. He was reluctant to dig deep, almost protective of his pain. He just knew he didn't know what to do anymore. It was clear that a lot of clearing was needed, so I opened an SRT and BodyMaitre session and asked High Self to research the most critical, prominent root cause of his current life challenges. Immediately, the pendulum indicated a major fear program. I took that primary finding of a fear program and I expanded my research using the BodyMaitre charts to see exactly how this fear was affecting his 4 bodies of consciousness: the spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical. This allows us to move from just labeling the problem to truly understanding the mechanics of his suffering. When we looked at the charts, the story began to unfold beautifully and tragically. I want to share these findings with you to show you how interconnected we are. We started at the root, the spiritual body, and sure enough, there was the core fear program. This is the anchor point in the soul records. Then we looked at the emotional body to see the flavor of this fear. It wasn't anger or sadness, it was the energy of feeling scared. When I dowsed further to ask, scared of what? The answer was profound. He was terrified of feeling hopeless. Now watch how that emotional terror dictates his mindset. We looked at his mental body and the primary block was blocks to trusting. Because his core emotion is a terror of hopelessness, his mind has decided it is unsafe to trust anyone or anything, perhaps even unsafe to trust the universe or himself, because if he trusts and is let down, he lands back in that unbearable feeling of hopelessness. Finally, we looked at the physical body. How does this spiritual fear, emotional terror of hopelessness, and mental inability to trust show up in his actual behavior? The chart showed three things: refusing to accept responsibility, doubting self-capabilities, and letting the past rule today. When I sat down to explain this to the client, the pieces finally clicked for him. I explained that his life wasn't falling apart because he was incompetent or unlucky. His life felt like it was crumbling because he was running a massive subconscious defense mechanism against feeling hopeless. Because he was so terrified of that specific emotion, his mind wouldn't let him trust. Because he couldn't trust, he constantly doubted his own capabilities. And to avoid the risk of failure, which would lead back to hopelessness, he was subconsciously refusing to take responsibility for moving forward, preferring instead to stay stuck in old patterns, letting the past rule his present day. The fear program had created a perfect, self-fulfilling cage. By trying so hard to avoid hopelessness, he was creating a life situation that felt entirely hopeless. Once he understood this mechanism, once he saw how the four bodies were working together to keep this program alive, we were able to use SRT to clear that core program at the soul level. We cleared the need to blocks to trusting, cleared the terror of hopelessness, and opened space for courage and self-trust. This is the power of this work. It's not just about making the bad feelings go away. It's about understanding the architecture of your own consciousness so you can dismantle the programs that no longer serve you. Before we end today's episode, I want to offer you a moment of shift. Whether you relate directly to this case study or you just feel the weight of your own fear programs, energy can be shifted across time and space. I invite you to take a deep breath, center yourself, and allow these words to be your own. We are going to invoke the help of Spirit, High Self, and the collective angelic team to facilitate this release for all of our four bodies. You can close your eyes and just listen or repeat this internally. For those already practicing BodyMaitre, you may attune yourself to the command deck and angelic hologram now. I now call upon Spirit, High Self, and the collective angelic team to step into this space. We ask for a divine clearing of the core fear program held within our spiritual body. Please locate the origins of this fear across all lifetimes and dimensions and dissolve it into light. We ask to clear the emotional body. We release the energy of feeling scared and specifically the deep, paralyzing fear of hopelessness. We ask the angels to lift this heavy vibration and replace it with the golden light of hope and courage. We ask to clear the mental body. We release all blocks to trusting. We dismantle the walls we built to protect ourselves, and we ask for the restoration of our ability to trust the divine, to trust the flow of life, and most importantly, to trust ourselves. And finally, we ask to clear the physical body consciousness. We release the pattern of refusing to accept responsibility. We release the program of doubting self-capabilities. And we command that the energy of letting the past rule today be broken now. We ask that our physical reality be aligned with the present moment, grounded in strength, capability, and sovereignty. We ask High Self to download the positive blueprint of safety, trust, and empowerment into every cell of our being. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, angels. It is done, it is done, it is done. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, feel that heavy armor falling away. If you feel like you are running on an invisible treadmill of fear, know that it doesn't have to be this way. The programming can be changed. Thank you for joining me today. If this resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, keep shining your light.